So in the context of manufacturing, let's have a quick look, and so that we get the kind of a base or the foundation from where lean really originated. So if you go back a few years, a few decades ago, really about 60s and 70s, the way manufacturing was structured was pretty much linear, pretty sequential. So you've got a product definition, the engineering comes in, they come up with the specifications and the mechanical aspect of it, then the electricals, then the manufacturing, then the industrial engineering, then finally the production comes, and then they deliver. Is it ringing any bells? So it's pretty much like what we had in the waterfall. I'll show that in the next slide. It's pretty linear, very sequential. You can't go back unless you put in a lot of effort. And then what we have now in the last 2 or 3 decades, thanks to lean, is basically a kind of a structure where a product could be developed, a new product. That's what we call in manufacturing as NPD, new product development. So new product development, whether it is pharma, whether it's car manufacturing, or whether it is some new chips in the semiconductors, whatever it could be. End of the day, the way that you try and produce and create a new product within any of these industries, it has gone through a significant transformation, a shift in the paradigm shift at that, in terms of how they approach it. So you've actually got these inputs and insights coming into the design from various stakeholders, and then they collaborate, they work together. It's not that they actually work in sequence, in parallel, in sequential order, but they're actually working in tandem, and then trying to give the insights what matters most, and then they contribute to the product being created in a collaborative way. So there is no I'm important, you're not kind of a thing. Everybody contributes, even marketing, even at this early stage marketing, because of the customer focus groups and the insights coming in from the market, they input those into the product development. Similarly, the team leader, the mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, all of them actually contribute, and then the product takes a shape, and then they launch the product. It's pretty much kind of resonates with what you have in the software development in the same context. So here with the waterfall, we've got till about the late 1990s, and even till about the mid 2000s, we had this context of waterfall model, right? So we've got requirements coming in, then your design, then development. We discussed this already in the Agile overview and later as well. So I won't go into depth about this, but you understand the challenges, the problems, the kind of constraints that these kind of model, the waterfall models, offer to us. And then when you compare it with what you have got with Agile, and it's a no-brainer because Agile is really optimal, slim, it's lean, not much of hierarchy. It delivers things quicker. You get the feedback early. You fail faster than what you're doing with waterfall, and you've got involvement of people coming in very early on, right from the the business customers to the stakeholders to the users. They're all coming in early, so they are taking in as much of your product as possible. You're getting the feedback visibly quicker. All of these, so we had discussed this value of Agile models and Agile methodologies in the last few weeks, so you understand that. I don't have to reiterate again those. So significant shift in the way we work, in the way we think, and the way we deliver the software products as compared to waterfall about a couple of decades ago. Huge shift. And that's where, again, software development, thankfully, has actually taken some of these best practices from manufacturing, from psychology, from cognitive psychology, all these different aspects, and then it actually kind of embraced and took them into its fold. And that's where Kanban, your Lean, Six Sigma, all of these actually kind of came in from the manufacturing and the production setup. And then moving on, so you understand that in that context. So let's try and see how this really fares in the context of what we're trying to do today with the software development. So as I mentioned, Toyota, it started with Toyota in the late 80s, and then obviously Lean has started from there, and then it never looked back. And there has been a lot of adoption of Lean in pretty much most of the companies, not just manufacturing, banks, in processes, in processing industry, in the engineering industry, in software development. There's a huge shift in the way we have been operating. A lot of principles and practices from Lean, like 5Y technique, the DMAIC, and the MUDA, which is about the waste, Japanese term for waste, all of these have actually started coming in from that perspective, which has significantly contributed to how we've been delivering the products in a significantly faster manner, but also in a much more qualitative manner. So there's a lot of reduction of defects compared to about 2 decades ago. So it all boils down to how we've been adopting, how we've been actually embracing some of these methods, the practices